Hey guys, today we're going to talk about what to do next. You've finished tasks A, B, and C, and now you're wondering how to go forward with the resources you have found. Well, we're going to show you that. So, as I mentioned, if you finish task A, you've got a good topic. Mine here is digital citizenship. You also have completed task B. You've got good academic language. You can see my academic language terms here. And I use that academic language to write a good focus question. Mine is, what is the role of schools in educating students in digital citizenship? You may recognize that question frame from your ELA notebook. So because I've got a good question and a good topic, I'm ready to start finding some information to answer this question. As I look for information and move into task D, it's really all about those resources. And here's what we're checking for as we move into this task. 1, making sure the resource is relevant to the focus question. In other words, does the resource have answers to your question? 2, is the resource reliable? Well, if you've taken it from the Elm4U database, that answer is yes. Remember, all of those resources are verified by librarians. 3, is the resource saved in an accessible place on your Google Drive? Again, you should be able to show us that in your Google Drive very easily. And lastly, you are able to explain the relevance of this article. And if you complete the task today, you should be able to do that. And again, the relevance comes from the fact that it is able to answer your question. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So just a quick reminder, my question is, what is the role of schools in educating students in digital citizenship? I'm looking for answers to that question. What role should schools play? What is their responsibility in educating students in this skill? So if I go up to my Google Drive, remember we've got this red folder where I've got some articles I've saved from the databases from Elm4U. You can see I've got 3 resources right now. I'm going to go to this one. Teaching Digital Citizenship, School Librarians Lead Students in the Tech Age. You may remember that article from last week. So here's the title, and what I'm going to do next is nothing very exciting or fun, but it's a real important step. I have to read this article and look for information that will answer my question, what is the role of schools in educating students in digital citizenship? What is their role? So as I read, this is a very long article, by the way, and I've read it ahead of time just to save myself some time while I'm going through this article. And as I read through, the first page really didn't have anything that answered my question, and you can feel free to slow it down and read it on your own if you'd like. But as I got to the second page, I did find some things that answered my question. Okay, so one of the first things I noticed was this line right here. Most educators agree that digital citizenship skills can't really be taught in a single class or even a series of classes. The best practice is to incorporate age-appropriate lessons in a manner that's relevant to the students. I like that. That's a piece of information that tells me how schools and teachers view their role in teaching students digital citizenship. That it needs to be incorporated into age-appropriate lessons in a relevant manner. I might use that for my research paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight it, which I've already done. I'm going to go up to my text color feature and select that. I'm going to move over to the right where it says highlight, and then I'm going to highlight that piece of information in yellow. And again, the reason I'm doing that is because as I've read this article, this looks like a piece of information I might use in my research paper. Again, I'm saying might because I don't know what I'm going to use. I won't know until I actually start to write it. But what I'm trying to do right now is reduce this long article into a set of highlighted facts and pieces of information that I can use when it comes time to write. As I continued on in this resource, there was another piece of information that I thought was really important. Right here, the next paragraph. At the middle school level, Marcia Sano says, it's important that students are starting to be aware that they need to evaluate the validity of what they are reading. That too was a fact I thought I might use in my research paper. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight that as well. Moving to that highlight feature and highlighting it. Again, this is something I think I might use to answer my question, what is the school's role in educating students in digital citizenship? Again, I might use it. I won't know for sure until I start writing, but I'm trying to reduce this long article into a bunch of facts and pieces of information. Right now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a break from the video and I'm going to go through and highlight other pieces of information I might use and show you what I will do next. Okay, so I went ahead and went through the remainder of this article and actually found a bunch of information that I think might be useful for my research paper. Now I want to remind you this was a really long article, about 8 pages, and there was a lot of information. As I just scroll through, you'll see that there are 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 different chunks of text that I highlighted. So this is going to be a really good resource for me when I write my research paper. Now, because I found so much information, I am for sure going to use this in my research paper. There's just so much there. Had I found maybe one piece of information or only 2, there's a chance that maybe I wouldn't have used it when it comes time to write. But given that I found 19 pieces of information, I'm most likely going to use a lot of it in my research paper. So remember last week when we found these sources, we pointed out how each one of these at the end has a source citation. Well, I'm going to need that for the works cited page of my research paper. So I want to collect this information now. So what I'm going to do at the end of my source citation, I'm going to go there and I'm just going to highlight that, and then I'm going to copy it. And then in my Google Classroom, I'm going to open up my online resource page, which asks me to record my resource information just by copying and paste it. So that source citation I just copied, I am going to paste it into this box. There is that source citation. Again, I'm going to need that later on when I write my works cited page. Right now, how many facts, quotes, or pieces of information did I highlight from this article? If you recall, I highlighted 19 pieces of information. There's a lot there. I'm just going to make that a little bit larger just so that it stands out as my answer. And did I find this article easy to read and understand? There were some parts that were a little bit confusing because there were some organizations and terms I wasn't familiar with. So that's going to make me put it in kind of. Most of it I understood, but there were some areas that I didn't quite understand as clearly as someone who's an expert in that field maybe would have. So I'm going to put kind of, and I'm going to highlight that answer since I'm in the Google Doc. And that's the way I'm going to identify that I'm recognizing how well I understood that. And as I move forward and find other articles, I'm just going to continue to record that source information, keep track of how much information I'm finding from that article, and just self-evaluate how easy that text was for me to read and understand. And so when I'm done with this process, I'm going to have lots of notes that I'm going to be able to use when it comes time to do my note-taking and starting the writing process. Good luck and good searching.